Hi, this is Karen Klemp from KarenKlempAstrology.com, and today we're going to talk about how people talk and walk their horoscope. I find it interesting every day when I look at people. I think, I can, I know what's going on there, and I guess that just happens from doing horoscopes for over 25 years. Sometimes I wonder if I worked in a grocery store, or if people that work in a grocery store can guess what groceries are in their grocery cart by looking at the person. If it's a real big person, do they have a lot of cakes? And it's we talk what we are, we eat what we are, we show everybody who we are every day by how we walk and how we eat and how we interact with each other. So that's what we're going to talk about today. How I can recognize people's horoscope by how they talk and how they walk. First of all, as many of you may know, we look at the planets, we look at the signs where the planets are in the signs. One division is the elements of fire, earth, and water. Now, our fire planets, our fire signs are Aries and Leo, and what am I forgetting? Sagittarius, of course, and Sagittarius. So somebody has a lot of Aries, or a lot of planet Aries and a lot of stuff in the first house ruled by Aries. They oftentimes are those wiry kinds of people that are, they can move and they're doing this, and they're doing that, and they can't hold still. That can be a lot of Aries energy. They're just always on the go, always got a new idea. That's Aries, okay, especially the physical movement. They're fun people. Aries like to have fun. They're practical jokers, but they're fiery. Okay, Leos, not all Leos, but typical Leo energy. They like a little jewelry. They always look nice. They kind of like to show people what they're about, and put themselves on display. Is that all Leo? No, it's not all Leo. But people that have a lot of Leo, I can see that. So if I see somebody with a lot of jewelry that's dressed to the nines, hair is always perfect, they have a lot of Leo in their chart, okay? Sagittarians. Sagittarians, the key word for Sagittarius is freedom. They like their own freedom. You can't tell them what to do, but they also have a sense of right and wrong. They're very and they may not show it when they're young, because it could be that the freedom is a big deal when they're young, but they do have a sense of, sometimes it's a religion, sometimes they're just spiritual in their own way, but they do have a higher thought about them. So that's the fire energy. All of them are fire, and they show this in perhaps a different way. Now, some charts may have all of those elements, or some charts may have 5 planets in Aries or 5 planets in Leo. So that means they have a lot of fire. They have a lot of energy. Now, I've also seen people who have a lot of fire in their chart, a lot of these signs in their chart, but they're not high energy. Well, what that is the energy is all internal. That would take a whole nother talk about what that would look like. But somehow the energy is, sometimes they have a strong desire, and they have this angst inside of them, and a lot of it, because they're fire. There's a lot going on there, a lot of movement going on there. So it can manifest in different ways, but that's the fire energy, and that's what I can observe in people. Now, earth energy is practical. I had a mother that was all earth, and she always thought 10 years ahead, and when I was in college, didn't want me to take any classes that weren't practical, that weren't going to be a marketable occupation. So those are Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus. All right, Taurus. Now the Capricorns are, this is another talk, as a cardinal. So they're very creative, but they're practical. Virgos are problem solvers. So if someone that is a Virgo sun, or has a lot of Virgo in their chart, has a real eye for detail, and they have the capability of solving problems. They like to solve problems. They can be critical because they're always about what do I need to do to solve the problems. And sometimes, especially if they don't have any water, might not think about whether they're being too critical of people because they're focused on solving the problem. And Taurus is ruled by Venus, so they like nice things and they like things that last. They're practical about what they buy because not only do they want something that's beautiful, but they want something that's going to be beautiful in 5 years. So they're very practical. So all of the earth signs are practical. So if I see somebody who is just very practical with their life, I know they have a lot of earth energy. Okay? All right. Water is about emotion. So we're talking here about Cancers. We're talking about Pisces. And we're talking about, I don't have air. Okay, we'll put air in there too. And we have, let me see, what's the other one? Pisces and Scorpio. Okay, Scorpio. All right. Water people, when you listen to them talk, I feel like this is what they say, okay? I feel like blah, 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 blah. But they use the word feeling. They talk about their feelings. Now, I also have to say, men who have a lot of water signs can come across completely opposite. They can be very stoic. And so what's happening there? They're really hiding how soft they are inside. In fact, if you are dating a man who has a lot of water signs, the best thing you can do is allow him to show his emotions and to hold that to be sacred and not talk about it with other people, because that's really the key to his heart. But to see him walk around, you'd say, no, he's not an emotional person. Yeah, he is. He's more emotional than most people, okay? Cancer is nurturing, a very nurturing sign. Pisces is the sign of the artist. Sometimes they have more difficulty with drugs and alcohol than most people. And Scorpios are the thunderstorms. They get down to the bottom of it, but they feel things very deeply. They have very deep feelings, but they're ruled by Mars. So it really is kind of a mixed bag. Even though they're emotional, if they get upset about something, they're going to do something about it and they get mad. You get a Scorpio mad and he's not going to forgive you because it's a fixed sign. They feel things very deeply, but they don't forget, okay? So, yeah, if I see that, then I know what element that is. Now, I forgot about air. How could I forget about air? People that don't have any air signs have a hard time communicating because air is all about communication. So what are the air signs? Well, let me see. Gemini is one. Libra is another. And I'm missing one. Let's see, the opposite of Cancer, opposite of Virgo is, what am I forgetting? I'll come to it. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. Can I forget that I have 2 kids that are Aquarians? Geminis, the gift that Geminis have is they're adaptable. They always look at things on the other side. Something goes wrong and they look for, a plan B. They always have a plan B in their pocket. So that's the real gift of Gemini. So, yeah, if I'm talking with somebody, if I'm with somebody, and oftentimes they do 2 things at once. So, yeah, if I'm with somebody and they're watching TV, but they're reading a book at the same time, or that's kind of Gemini energy. They're also very restless. So you see people that like to ride their bike a lot. They're always on their bike. They don't want to get in the car. They want to do the bike. Or they're on the phone all the time. That's Gemini energy. Always communicating or moving around. Taking, when I went to New York City, I saw people on bicycles carrying packages from one place to another, going in and out of traffic. You think, oh my gosh, they're going to get killed. That's Gemini energy. Moving around, whether it's in their head or on the phone or whatever. I always say to Geminis, they don't like to sit behind the desk too much because there's a restlessness about Geminis. Can you relate to that, Mike? All right. Libra is the other air sign. Now, Libra's, let me see, they're ruled by Venus, so they always look nice. You know, I'm a child of the 60s. I was in college during the hippie era. And Libras, they may wear their bell bottoms and their old ragged clothes or how we did when we were hippies, but they were always clean and they were always ironed, and maybe they wore bell bottoms, but it had a crease down the front. Okay, that's a Libra, ruled by Venus, so they're going to look nice, even if if they're wearing kind of ragged clothes, they're going to be clean and they're gonna look nice. Okay, Libras are always thinking about their partner. You know, if I see a couple, I know in Grand Haven there's a couple that have a business together and they live upstairs, and I think, oh my gosh, how can anybody live upstairs, go downstairs and work with their partner all day long, every day, day after day? I know those two have to be Libras. They like to be with their partner. They like to be with someone all the time. That would drive me nuts. But you know, different strokes for different folks, right? That's the energy of Libra. Now you can imagine somebody that is Sagittarius, likes a lot of freedom, is with a Libra that likes partnership. There's going to be some conflict there, right? So sometimes I see that when I look at a relationship, I think, oh, I know what's going on there, right? So that's another interesting way to look at it. Aquarians, the worst thing you can say to Aquarian is, I know someone that reminds me of you here, because they value their uniqueness. They have kind of a love-hate relationship with groups. They're usually very humanitarian. They do things for organizations. They're charitable, but they're airs, so they're not real emotional about it. They're not. It's not an I feel thing, but they care about humanity and they care about organizations. So that's the elements. Now I don't know where we are in time, but I want to talk a little bit about other aspects of signs that is equally fascinating to me. And that is cardinal, mutable, and fixed. Now the cardinal planets are Capricorn, the earth sign Capricorn, the water sign Cancer, and the air sign, fire sign Aries, and the air sign Libra. All right, cardinal people are considered to be the leaders. Well, I don't know if they're leaders, but they get inspired and they have new ideas. They want to try this, they want to try that. I think they're the Nike creator person that said, just do it. He was a cardinal person, I'm sure. I don't know if he was a Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, or Libra, but that's cardinal thinking, is just do it. You jump in the water and there's alligators in there, well, jump out. So what? You just do it, okay? Mutable energy is Gemini. Let me see what's mutable, that's water. Virgo. Oh no, Virgo's earth. Mutable water is Pisces. Oh, that's okay. Pisces goes in like this more. All right, Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, Pisces, and Sag. So their energy is they have to research it. They just have to check it out. You know, they're not going to do it. They're not going to jump in like the cardinal people do that, but they're going to do a little research, and you know, that's a positive thing. But if they don't have any cardinal energy, they spend their whole time doing research and they never do it. So if a cardinal person's married to a person that has a lot of mutable, they'd say, oh, for crying out loud, will you just stop and do it and try it? If it doesn't work out, so what? But the mutable person can have a hard time getting going because he's always got to do a little more research. Now the fixed person, which is Taurus, Aquarius, Leo. Who am I forgetting? I'm forgetting somebody. Scorpio. They have a fixed idea of the way things should be. And you can't talk them out of it because this is how their mom did it, this is how their grandpa did it, and this is how you do it, okay? Taurus, you've heard about the stubborn bull. Well, that's fixed energy. But you can imagine if a Scorpio is married to a Leo or an Aquarian is married to a Taurus, they both have their own ideas of what is the right thing to do. Well, sometimes it's not about the right thing to do. It's just the way you've been raised. And so, but they can get kind of stuck in what the right thing to do is. So I always tell a story. Let's say a cardinal person, a mutable person, and a fixed person are going to take a trip from Michigan to Florida. The fixed person says, well, I always take I-75. That's the way I've always done it. It's the best way to go. Let's just take I-75. The mutable person would say, well, let's do a little research. Perhaps there's a better way, new highways. We need to know where there is construction, but we need to do a little bit of research. And the cardinal person would say, what? Just do it. Let's just get on the road. I'm sick of talking about it. I don't care what okay, we'll take I don't care. Let's just do it. I want to get out of here. Let's go. And if we get stuck, we'll just, look at a map and go another direction. But let's go. So that's the story of cardinal, mutable, fixed. So as you can see, I have a lot of fun just kind of looking around and looking at people and watching them interact. For more information, I'm Karen Klemp at KarenKlempAstrology.com. I do individual readings and I also do groups. Now, next week, I really want to talk more about what I observe in terms of the houses. For those of you that know what the houses are, I will talk about it in my talk then. See you then.